Hello, this is Geraldine, and I've got a nature journal that I've made recently to show. I have been recently playing with Kraft Tex quite a bit in terms of spines and covers for journals. This one, for example, is in two tones of Kraft Tex, and the eucalyptus leaf on the front I made from a dye, a Kraft dye. Kraft's an Australian company, and I inlaid it into another cut. So I cut a brown, cut a black, inlaid the black into the brown, glued it down to a substrate. So it works very well, it's very easy, and the cutting of the Kraft Tex is really good. I use a big shot to do that. The spine is Kraft Tex as well, and I've made this as a fairly large form of a traveller's journal. So it has the elastic in the spine and it's got two signatures. The back is fairly plain, and it's got an elastic that goes around, keep it together. So this journal I've made as if it's for someone who likes to go out into the bush, the woods or the forests, and observe the creatures and plants that are out there. I have used a set of papers from Kraft again, which have Australian florals on them, and I've also used quite a few of my own watercolours that I've painted over the years. I scan them in, size them up and down, play with them generally as I want. So it opens up, so you'll see the cover is quite sturdy. It has two layers of Kraft Tex. One is the outside with the eucalyptus leaf inlaid, and there's an inner lining. The spine itself has two layers as well. The outside is about 1.5 inches from the left-hand side, and inside I've done the same thing. And I've sewn them with the sewing machine to give what I think is quite a nice, neat sort of look. We have over here, I'd make these little photo packages from people, make them like Tim Holtz and Elizabeth, forgotten her name, sorry. So that's to put photos in if you want to. There's a little tag, goes into a pocket. This is one of my butterflies. There's a tag. One of those flat pens that people are making these days. And I do incorporate some sewing into this one. This is one of my butterflies, watercolours. This is the paper from Kraft, which is lovely Australian flowers. This is one of my watercolours, and this is a little tiny specimen that I laminated. And here's a letter to the owner, the new owner. I'll tell them all about it. So it has two signatures, as I said, very similar. One, two. So there's the two signatures, and I've got a folder that goes behind both of them. So the elastic keeps them in, as with all travellers' notebooks. As you can see, as soon as I find the middle, there it is there. So the folder is made of craft paper. I developed all this stuff myself. This is a paper from somewhere, I can't remember. Well, this is a letter to the new owner. and what the other one was. And these are tags, seed packets, cards. Here's a couple of my watercolours, the gladiolus, and forgotten those. I also used Tim Holtz entomology stamps, which I just adore. I think they're gorgeous. So this is the first page of the first signature. It's got a little booklet with brown paper that I'll put in with elastic, I think. Pockets. This paper I made myself from ledger paper, my watercolours. I get onto the printer and make things transparent and join them all up. And, you know, this is one of mine. These are landscapes, the back here, that, you know, fell pretty short as landscapes, but they do to make paper that you can then write on. So I print those off as well. Flannel flowers are mine. These are stamps. More of my papers. These are two little cards. These are irises that I painted, and this is a reduced picture of a quilt that I made some years ago now. I made it for a film, which I'll have to get up for sale sometime, Marissa. More stamps, my background stamps, my trees, backgrounds, watercolour paper, another transparent watercolour, similar stuff here. So there's plenty of room to write, to put your pictures, to draw your specimens, and that's what it's designed for. The second signature's very similar. Some lilies and pansies and primroses. Oh, that's cute. I don't know what flowers they are. Made them up. Another butterfly. I think I'm not sure what they are, but they're mine. More observations, samples and sketches, room 4, that is, on my own papers. My toadstools, love those. Watercolour, backgrounds and stamps. Again. Backgrounds, stamps. They're so pale. They're generally much darker, but once you scan them in, you take the transparency down to about 40%. It just becomes background paper. These are envelopes. Some commercial paper. I think it's Kraft. One of mine. Stamps. Butterflies. Tags. Watercolour. Transparency. Little bag in the back, little to put your specimens and things. Another little book to put things in. And that's the back of the second signature, and this is the back of the folder. So one of my paintings, a specimen of rosemary. And the back, and this is definitely Kraft paper, and one of Tim Holtz's little small clipboard, which I think is very cute. So that's what I'm calling the nature journal. People sometimes ask me where I get ideas for these things. Well, I get them from lots of places. My bookbinding teacher, Erica, gives me ideas on bookbinding, and the YouTube book type ladies, women, are excellent source of inspiration, like Nick the Booksmith and Wendy's Journal Adventures. Nibajiri I really like because she does nature type things. You know, there are just so many terrific things on YouTube. Anyway, that's my Kraft Tex Nature Journal. Thanks for joining me.